Hey everyone, for today's One Piece TCG video, we're going to be looking at the Battle of the Supernovas. That's right, Zoro versus Kid. Zoro's ability is with 1 Dawn attached, all your characters get plus 1000 power, and Kid's ability is when you wear S3 Dawn and discard a card, you can return this card to active. I've been meaning to give the green deck a try, and I'll be most likely doing an Odin deck in the near future as well. So first off, for my turn, I'm going to be playing Jewelry Bonney. This card, when you rest 1 Dawn in this card, it allows you to look at the top 5 cards, and allows you to pick a Supernova and put it into your hand. My opponent's going to play Chopper on her turn to set up her defenses, and then pass turn. So during my turn, once I have 3 Dawn in play, the first thing I'm going to do is attack my opponent's leader with Kid with no Dawn attached. Unfortunately, she does get Radical Beam, applying the trigger, giving her leader plus 1000 for the turn. My original plan was to rest the 3 Dawn to activate Eustass Kid's ability to discard a card and return him to active to attack my opponent again. The trigger ability nullified that effect. Instead, we activate Jewelry Bonney's effect, and we're going to get an X Drake to put into our hand. Next, what I decide to do is I decide to get the 2-cost Killer out on the field. This way I can have some early defenses as well, and just in case I might want to keep Jewelry Bonney alive, in case my opponent does decide to attack her, still get that draw power for next turn. My opponent decides to go with the 3-cost Monkey D. Luffy for her turn. This is the one when you attach 2 Dawn, he gets plus 2000, so bringing him up to a 7000 cost character for a 3-cost, which is pretty strong. She makes the decision to attack my leader with her leader, and we are both now at 4 life apiece. The first thing I'm going to do is attack with Eustass Kid to her leader again, this time not attaching any Dawn to prepare to unrest him again. The first thing she is going to do is counter with Brook, giving him plus 2000, easily countering that attack. I attach the 1 Dawn onto Killer, so this way if we block when we have 3 characters or more on the field, we get to draw a card. And I activate Jewelry Bonney's ability once again in order to grab another card. This time I'm going to grab the 3-cost Eustass Kid. This one, when you attach 1 Dawn, he gains double attack. The reason why I enjoy playing this card is not only does it have the early game potential to deal double damage, it also forces your opponent to deal with this card. I make the decision here not to go ahead and use Eustass Kid's leader ability in order to unrest the card, and instead we're going to play a 2-cost character. We're going to play Scratchmen Apoo. Scratchmen Apoo's ability is when you have 1 Dawn attached and you attack your opponent, you get to rest 1 of their active Dawn. This doesn't apply to us at the moment, but we have 3 characters on the field, allowing Killer's ability to go off if we do block. Our opponent is ready for her turn, and she decides to play the 2-cost Usopp card. This card is great because she can attach 1 Dawn, and if we decide to play an event card during our turn, which we do have 1 Dawn available, she gets to draw a card. She attaches her 2 Dawn to Luffy and swings in against our leader for 7000. I do decide to make the decision to block with Killer, but at the same time what I am going to do is I am going to play Paradise Waterfall in order to unrest Jewelry Bonney so that way she cannot be a target this turn for an attack. This, however, does allow her to activate Usopp's ability in order for her to draw a card. Once all the effects resolve, Killer is KO'd and she can continue with her turn. She decides not to attach any Dawn to her leader Zoro and decides to swing in with 5000 against my leader. At this point in time, I do decide to take that extra damage as we don't have very many blockers on the field and I do not have very many counter cards in my hand at that point in time. To start off my turn, I do decide to activate Jewelry Bonney's ability. I do decide to grab another X Drake that I find within those top 5 cards. The reason for this is now that I have 2 of them in my hand, it gives me more versatility in the event that I can't KO any characters on my opponent's side with attacks, or I can't deal with them with counters. So just in case I need to play them in order to KO characters, I have them ready available. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the 5-cost Law, returning Jewelry Bonney to my hand, and then playing a 3-cost Killer, KOing her Luffy. Not only does this allow me to get 2 characters on the field, one of them being a blocker, but it allows me to KO her strong character out on the field without having to play one of my X Drake. I attack her leader for 5000 with my Eustass Kid, and she decides to go in for the counter with Gordon for 2000. For my last Dawn, I decide to rest it, and we're just going to play Capone Bege. This way I have 2 blockers out on the field, and I am ready to set up for my next turn. My opponent for her turn, she decides after she gets her Dawn to set up for her side of the field. First thing she's going to do is attach 1 Dawn to Usopp to prepare in the event that I do get any triggers off of my cards. And the next thing she's going to do is deal with one of my blockers. She's going to play Jet Pistol, KOing my Capone Bege. She then decides to attach 1 Dawn to leader Zoro, buffing up her characters by 1000, preparing her character Usopp to attack this turn. She decides to attack my leader with her Usopp, and I do decide to block it with Law. At this point in time, she's confused because she forgot that Law is indeed a blocker. We have a quick little discussion and joke about that why she should have used Jet Pistol on my Law instead, and we resolve the play from there. It wasn't for naught though, as she attacks my leader with her leader, and I do take the damage, bringing me down to 2 life. Although there was a slight misplay, I shouldn't be laughing at this point in time, as it is a 4-2 game, and I am having a bit of a hard time keeping up. So because I have no characters that are going to be able to attack when I play them from my hand this turn, I decide to go for her characters on the field. So I'm going to attack with Killer to her Usopp, and she is going to counter that. Next I target Usopp once again with Scratchmen Apoo, and she decides to play guard point on her Usopp at that point in time. I do decide to rest 8 Dawn, and I am going to play Eustass Captain Kid. Now, we are going with the 1-cost ability at this point in time until there's been clarification around whether or not this was a misprint or whether or not the rules have changed. But if you want to leave a comment down below to confirm whether or not that is, that would be great. I decide to target her Usopp once again, and she finally concedes. And I attack her leader with my blocker Law, and she does decide to take the damage. The only other thing we did, however, manage to get out is I did rest Eustass Captain Kid in order to play my 3-cost Eustass Kid. So my opponent first needs to deal with Eustass Captain Kid in order to be able to attack my leader. So the first thing she has to do is make the decision whether or not she's going to play any additional cards or just go in for that attack. So what she is going to do is she's going to attach enough Dawn to her leader Zoro in order to deal enough damage to my character Captain Eustass Kid in order to KO the character. She rests leader Zoro, going in for the attack against Captain Eustass Kid, and the attack is successful. At this point in time, she still is ahead by 1 life, so she decides to rest 3 Dawn in order to play the 3-cost Nico Robin, a 5,000 cost character because she still has the blocker out on the field, so she still has some defenses. I decide I need to attack as much as possible towards her leader this turn, even with blockers if I have to, in order to take as much life down as possible, as it forces her to make a decision on how she's going to play on her next turn. So the first thing I do is I attach 2 Dawn to Scratchmen Apoo, and I attack her leader. She rests the 1 Dawn from Scratchmen Apoo's ability. She debates whether or not to take the attack, and decides not to counter it, and the damage goes through successfully. She does, however, get a trigger. She does end up getting Jet Pistol from her life, and she decides to KO my 3-cost Eustass Kid. I decide to not save any blockers, and I attack her leader with Law, not attaching any Dawn, going in for the 6,000 against 5,000 attack. This attack, however, is not successful, but it does force her, however, to play a 2-cost counter from her hand. So I have to make a decision here quick. I need to decide whether or not I'm going to try to go in and deal as much damage as possible, or whether or not I want to stall a little bit longer. I know I have 10 Dawn available to me, and I do decide to play it a little more safe. So what I decide to do is I take 5 of my Dawn, and I rest it, and I'm going to play the 5-cost Law once again. Once I play Law, I decide to return to hand the rested Law that I have on the field already, as I don't want to leave them open for an attack. I decide to play 2-cost Killer, as I want to have another blocker on the field in the event that my opponent decides to go out for an all-out attack. I make a successful attack with my leader against her leader, and then I activate Eustass Kid's leader ability, unresting and attacking again. She decides to counter the second attack, making that one unsuccessful. My opponent does have a lot of cards to play in her hand at this point in time, but she's hoping for a great draw, and unfortunately she doesn't get the best of draws, but it is still a useful card. She does get the 1-drop Nami. This is the one that allows you to attach 1 rested Dawn to a character or leader. She decides to use character Nami's ability in order to attach the rested Dawn to her leader Zoro in order to give all her characters plus 1,000 for the turn. This allows her to set up 2 strong attackers this turn in order for her to attempt to get 2 of my blockers off the field. She makes the decision to use some of her unrested Dawn to attach them to Nico Robin, and once she has done so, decides to attack my leader with her Nico Robin. I do decide to block that attack in order to avoid any damage. She then attaches 3 more Dawn to her leader Zoro in order to attack my leader for a total of 9,000. I do decide to take that damage, and it did work out in my favor as I get the 3-cost Killer, which allows us to KO 1 rested character of 3 cost or less on our opponent's side of the field. With only a few Dawn left open, our opponent passes turn. This game we did have quite a strong back and forth, and it's not about to slow down as we do have a very strong end of game battle. I attach 2 Dawn to my leader and attack her leader for 7,000. She decides to rest 1 Dawn, buffing Zoro up to 3,000 with guard point, countering the attack. I then rest 3 Dawn, discard a card in order to unrest my leader and attack her leader once again. She is able to counter it once again from her hand, this time with Radical Beam. I decide to go in for the 6,000 attack against her leader, knowing she has few cards left in hand and only 1 blocker out on the field. Without using a card in hand, she does decide to block the attack with Chopper, making the attack unsuccessful against her leader. I attach 2 Dawn to Scratchmen Apoo, attacking her leader for 5,000, resting her final Dawn, bringing her down to last hit. At this point I figured, great, I can attack her leader for 6,000 here and I win the game, but she luckily pulled a 2,000 counter, keeping her alive for one last turn. With that miraculous pull, my opponent is still in the game. At this point in time, all she knows is I have 6 cards in hand. What she does not know is that I only have 2,000 in total counters. If she plays this right, it would be the comeback of the century. She makes sure to save enough Dawn for Nami to attack my leader so she can get 2 hits off this turn. Knowing that I have 6 cards in my hand, but not knowing that only 2 of them are counters, she decides to allocate her Dawn. She allocates enough that Nami's going to be able to attack as well as swing over her 5,000 amount that she needs just to hit, but she also gives Zoro enough so that way the attack that she swings at now is able to hit. Unfortunately for her, the last card I drew was a counter and I'm able to successfully block her Nami's attack. As this poetic battle comes to a conclusion, I unrest all cards, attach 10 Dawn to Law, and swing in to win the game. Once again, thank you so much everyone for watching. If you like these videos, comment on what you'd like to see next. Thanks again!